blood on the floor. I still see the blood every time I close my eyes. It was on the floor, smeared across the cracked tiles of Ekeoluwa's living room. Her father stood there, holding the kitchen knife, his chest heaving. Ekeoluwa didn't scream or cry. She just stared at her mother's lifeless body. That blank stare haunts me to this day. A happy home. I never thought something like this could happen in Ekeoluwa's family. They seemed like the perfect family. Her father, Mr. Adewale, was quiet but kind. Her mom, Mrs. Folek, was always smiling, always cooking for the neighbors. Ekeoluwa was my best friend. We shared everything, even secrets. But nothing she ever told me prepared me for what I saw that day. The night before. The day before it happened, Ekeoluwa had been unusually quiet. We were sitting outside after school, and I asked her if something was wrong. She just shook her head. I pressed her, but all she said was, "It's my parents. They've been fighting again." I didn't think much of it. Everyone's parents fight, right? The morning it happened. It was a Saturday. I had gone to Ekeoluwa's house to borrow a schoolbook. The door was slightly open, which was strange. I stepped inside and called out, but nobody answered. That's when I heard it, her father shouting, her mother crying, and Ekeoluwa begging, "Daddy, please stop the fight." I crept closer to the living room, my heart racing. Mr. Adewale was yelling, saying things I couldn't understand. Mrs. Folek was on the floor, holding her side. Blood was already pooling around her. Ekeoluwa was standing in front of her dad, her hands outstretched like she was trying to stop him. The unthinkable. It happened so fast. Mr. Adewale raised the knife, and Ekeoluwa lunged at him. I couldn't see everything clearly, but when she moved aside, her mother was lying still. Ekeoluwa's hands were covered in blood. She looked at her father, then at her mother, and then at me. The escape. I ran. I didn't know what else to do. I heard Ekeoluwa calling my name, but I couldn't stop. My legs carried me out of the house, down the street, and straight to my mom. I told her everything, and she called the police. The aftermath. The police arrived at Ekeoluwa's house and arrested Mr. Adewale. He didn't even resist. Ekeoluwa sat on the front steps, her face blank, her school uniform soaked in blood. When they led her away, she didn't say a word. The trial. The whole town was talking about it. Mr. Adewale said he killed his wife because she was planning to leave him. But Ekeoluwa's testimony shocked everyone. She said she had begged her father to stop, that he threatened to kill her too. The court believed her. Mr. Adewale was sentenced to life in prison. The quiet girl. Ekeoluwa doesn't talk to me anymore. She moved to live with an aunt in another town. Sometimes, I wonder if she ever forgave me for running away that day. But I can't bring myself to ask her. All I know is that the blood on the floor will never leave my mind, just like the look in her eyes, the look of a girl who lost everything in one terrible moment.